Hello, and it's very nice to have a second round of interview for the upcoming Darkness Emergent event in Las Vegas this time. And today I have two new guests with me, starting with someone who hasn't been on our channel before, Kelly. Kelly, could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi, everybody. So I'm Kelly Barnes. I've come on board with Night Studios as the director of events back in July. I have a longer than I'd like to admit history of LARPing. I started back around 1996, 97. So yes, I was a mere babe. We're just gonna go with that. But I have played in various events all the way from Gen Con to Dragon Con to the Camarilla. I was with White Wolf as the director of marketing from 2005 for about 6 years. So also with CCP Games. I've done a little writing. Probably my best, funnest experience on the operational side of LARPing was in 2004 when we ran a convention in Raleigh that had over 1,000 people show up for World Ending, World of Fire, Chronicle, kill everybody and finish it all off, vampire, werewolf, mage, changeling, the whole thing. And imagine getting 1,000 LARPers in a hotel all at once for a 4-day weekend. So I am pleased to be here and joining the team, and I'm excited about Darkness Emergent in November.
What an exciting history. I want to dig so much deeper into that. But before we get into it, someone who doesn't need an introduction on our channel, because I'm sure you know at least the amazing characters that this wonderful person portrayed. Cynthia, of course, I'm going to let you introduce yourself again.
Hi, everyone. I am Cynthia Marie. You may know me as Nellie G from LA by Night or Coco from New York by Night, but I also do a whole bunch of other TTRPGs. And when I'm not guest starring, I'm usually working, or now I've started grad school. So yay me. But so excited to be a part of Darkness Emergent again. This will be my third event with the team, and I'm going to be playing an amazing NPC and some other stuff.
Awesome. I will definitely ask you about that NPC and get all the juicy details in a bit. But first of all, we know you're going to play. Kelly, what is going to be your role during Darkness Emergent? Can we expect you on the floor? Can we expect you lurking behind the scenes and watching us play? What's going to happen?
Absolutely. So I will be there to facilitate things. The staff is going to be reporting up to me, and I intend to run around like a chicken with my head cut off, making sure everybody has a good experience. But I'm also a player, so I'm looking forward to the opportunity in the evenings to actually play a PC, just a normal PC. I'm a Tremere. I'm going to hang out and do Tremere-ish things all weekend. And so if you're looking for somebody to do a little magic, come find me. I love mystery, adventure, plots, getting involved in things and running off and doing stuff I shouldn't do that confuses the storytellers.
Well, we have one clone revealed. What about the other? Cynthia, what is going to be your mysterious NPC?
So I'm playing a bit of a canon character. Her name is Elizabeth Demetrios. She is a ministry clanmate who is a child of Hesha. So if anybody knows about Hesha, you'll know a little bit about Elizabeth, but her story is relatively short. So people don't know where she ended up. And so it looks like she's ending up in Vegas. So you have to follow her story and find out what's going on with her.
That's amazing. And yeah, I've been thinking a lot about what an amazing setting for World of Darkness game Vegas is. I've never been there personally. What do you think about the setting, Kelly? Is it going to bring something super exciting to the world of vampire, or do you think vampires in Vegas are conservative just like anywhere else?
Well, given that the anarchs are in control of the city, conservative doesn't come to mind. But isn't it such a perfect place for vampires? I mean, if you're going to feed, so many tourists come in and out, people disappear, you never know what's going on. So from that aspect of it, and this is the fact that for Darkness Emergent, it's the first time we're going to a city that is anarch held. Will it be anarch held at the end of the weekend? Who knows? I don't know, because I'm not a storyteller.
So this is something I learned from Jimmy when I had an interview with him, which was super interesting. Is the fact that this is an Anarch City was established during the previous LARP, and it seems like some events on previous gatherings are affecting the sort of a meta plot that we have ongoing in the background. Cynthia, you've been on these events before. Can you give us a little bit of a peek behind the veil on how does it look like when you are there in person? What is your political input into this world?
Oh gosh. Well, so I started with Darkness Emergent in San Antonio. And I played the Prince there. So that was a full cam game that was getting everybody back into LARPing. I believe it was one of the first ones like since the pandemic really like had happened. I think Saturnalia was right before that, but nothing of a big gathering. So the idea behind the Camarilla, whatever you want to say it, this Prince bringing everybody together was supposed to be the idea of the first time that they're holding Elysium. So come see how San Antonio is doing. That in the political realm started kind of creating this idea of people trying to come together for these certain events. And that's when Chicago kind of came to play. So unfortunately, I didn't play a character that was intrinsic into the politics, but having heard what was going on, the politics that I did play was actually outside of the kindred realm. I played a changeling.
Ooh.
So yeah, I was challenging a lot of the vampires to question who they're supporting and if they're supporting the right causes. I got to pull at the heartstrings of players because a child was captured, and I was like, "How dare you destroy the dreams of children? What are you guys doing? You're beasts! Like, how dare you do these?" And they were like, "Oh no, well, are we the bad guys?" But from what I heard down on the lower level, there was a lot of politicking going on between the idea of the Anarchs and the Camarilla. And from what I understand, there was a decision made, and now Vegas is now becoming the Anarch mecca for now. So we'll see. I think it's a pretty cool concept, especially like not that the two worlds relate, but knowing that like LA certainly is Anarch, right? Canonically. And we certainly showed that in LA by Night. So my brain is like, okay, like, how is this shifting in their world? Is LA going to also be an Anarch thing? Like, how is it going to all come to fruition? So I'm excited for that meta plot to kind of take place. But I do have a place in the politics in Vegas playing Elizabeth. So I'm actually interested to see if players try to sway the city to go to Camarilla.
Awesome. It seems like with these interconnected events and intertwined plots and everything following sort of a similar meta plot, there's so many complications possible, so many possible things that can go wrong. From an organizational standpoint, it must be just, tons of puzzles in your head that you have to put together. Kelly, what do you think is the biggest challenge in organizing an event like that, and something that you're very excited about tackling?
Absolutely. Well, we'll say a lot of the heavy lifting comes from our storytellers and our writing team. So they are making sure to react to player actions, to give players opportunity for agency and to influence and affect things, which I love. So you come and you have these interactions with these key NPCs, like what Cynthia Marie's playing, and what you do matters.
Yeah.
And it will continue to affect things down the line. So from that side, it's fun. Then the pieces that I'm working with to help create the robust experience for our attendees involves community building. So when we're outside of the actual LARP experiences, we're gonna have some other things going on, panels. One of the things I'm excited about, though, it's gonna happen on Saturday afternoon. We are doing a photo scavenger hunt up and down the strip, because we know people, not only are they competitive ICELY, sometimes they're competitive OOCELY as well. And so as you make friends with your factions or other people who've come to Vegas for Darkness Emergent, you can set up in teams of 4 to 8 people, and you're going to run up and down the strip, taking pictures with Elvis impersonators or going in front of the Bellagio fountains or whatnot for prizes. And you come back and we're going to have them doing hashtags. We want the stuff all over the social media. We want people to see the kind of fun you can have hanging out with fellow LARPers and aficionados of this type of experience. So that's just one of the elements that we're introducing outside of the LARP period in order to have fun and get everybody together.
It just made me so happy because that's my tourist dream. I've never been to Vegas before, and I was like, I want to go to the strip.
Yes, and you don't have to go alone. You can make friends there in the first couple of days, sign up to make a team right on the spot. This is a free activity that we're offering to all of our attendees.
That's amazing. And yeah, as someone who has just started my LARPing story kind of last year, really, and Saturnalia was one of these experiences, I know that it is kind of a problem sometimes to get out of your shell and go from the safe table setting to the real world where people interact with you in person. And I was terrified of that initially, but I broke out of that shell, and it turned out to be amazing in the end. Something I can recommend to everyone who thinks they may be too scared to do this. But Cynthia, how did you handle this yourself, jumping from the table role player into the LARPing world? Or maybe was it the other way around for you?
So mine was the kind of the other way around. I actually started my very, very first LARP was with By Night Studios almost 9 years ago in Vegas. I was in the Blood and Betrayal series, and that was the first time I had ever experienced LARP. So I was absolutely spoiled when it came to LARPing, period, because it was in the Palms Hotel at the rooftop club and bar where they opened up the ceiling, and all you just saw was the stars and the moon, and everybody was in like phenomenal costumes and gowns and makeup. Like it was truly like being thrown into a movie and being that NPC in a movie, being like, oh my gosh, like how do I handle this? It was amazing. Once I got that world, I knew that I wanted to play vampire more and wanted to play more games. And so that my friends were like, oh, well, have you ever heard of Dungeons and Dragons? And I was like, I mean, I played Changeling as a tabletop person like a long time ago. And so I kind of like got pulled back into the tabletop role playing, and that's kind of where it all kind of just started shifting around and stuff like that. But I would also give the advice, the thing about LARP for me is that you can sit in the room or wherever you're at and stand quietly if you're too shy to talk. And to me, that's also some of the best tactics as a player, because you get to listen into conversations that people are having and get information that way. And so for some time, I'm a dancer and choreographer. Acting is kind of like my second, I guess, call it my second performance, my second language, if you will. So speaking up was always kind of difficult for me, especially in the tabletop setting. In LA by Night, like, I don't know if you've ever saw, but like, I was always the one that was like struggling to like say something because I didn't think that I was that witty in comparison to everybody else. So LARP helped me in the sense that I could ground myself as a performer and give physical reactions and be able to just stand there and make a mark. And when somebody wanted me to talk, I would talk. So for folks who are a little bit afraid, like, it's okay to be able to sit in the corner, have whatever drink you want in your hand and look super cool and not have to say a whole lot.
Well, I think we are our biggest critics, and when I watched LA by Night, I thought you were a diva and you're a star, and so I didn't see any of that. But that's true. Like, a lot of people assume when they see people on the screen, or people who, I don't know, are just online or on the silver screen or the other screens, and they think that we don't struggle with that anxiety, right? But it's definitely a thing, and to get that safety build up around the event definitely helps you get out of that shell and help out with speaking up and being a part of it. So Kelly, can you talk a little bit more about the various ways, which I've heard some of them, which are super amazing, on you making sure that people feel safe and secure during your events?
Absolutely. So on Friday at Darkness Emergent, we are offering some panels, and one of them is called aptly LARP 101. So we're going to have some of our storytellers, some of our experienced players, people who've done NPCs for us before, talk to everybody about ways you can get involved, just the methods to raise your hand and say, hey, I'd love to participate. The thing I do love about the players we have at Darkness Emergent, particularly our repeat players, is they are so inclusive. I have seen people really reach out to give individuals opportunities to join them on the quest or the hunt for plot tchotchkes and MacGuffins. And so, as Cynthia Marie mentioned, if your comfort zone is to sit, watch, and observe, you can do that. If you want to get involved, there will be opportunities to do that, both through other players as well as the STs wanting to help and make sure people have a good time. So the LARP 101 session We'll give tips and tricks and hints of how you can get engaged and how you can raise your hands for that. We're also offering a character workshop. So maybe you've created this off the fly and you want to think about the motivations, the background, the history of your characters. We're also going to be having panels to discuss that, and we encourage that peer-to-peer sharing as well. So we want people to volunteer what they have done, what they have found effective, and share that with their fellow players. And so we're hoping through those, again, communal events, knowledge share events, that people will have a greater sense of comfort and know that this is that community you're looking for to help you get comfortable. The other thing I'll tell you too is people change characters. So if you try one at this Darkness Emergent and it didn't work for you, you can build and experiment with something different for the next session. So you get that option. You can continue the same story, or if you want to play something different every time because you have a huge closet full of costume stuff that you want to show off, this is also a way you can do that.
That's great. And speaking of new characters, I do want to poke you, Cynthia, about the clan you're playing, because I happen to really like that clan. And you did mention that before, when you were playing as a changeling, you were meddling a little bit with kindred worldview and how they see themselves and how they see things happening around them. Ministry are masters of that. They are literally what they do is just changing people's mindsets and making them look from a different perspective. Do you think you're going to bring some of those experiences as a changeling to this gameplay, or how do you want to handle this?
So when I was asked to play this character, I admit that I was a little like, oh wow, this is going to be very challenging for me, because I never play philosophical religious type characters, and this character is very strongly based in that idea of flipping people's ideology.
Yes.
And so not that I'm afraid of it or anything, but I'm certainly like, okay, this is definitely a challenge because I've got to be on my feet. I've got to understand all of the religious aspects so that when I go to challenge people, there are strings that I can pull that would hopefully get people to think about like where they're putting their allegiance to. So I'm actually really excited to dive into the material. I actually have some old school books that I kind of want to like reference. I have this is so cruel of me to say, and I'm sorry because I know we renamed them and everything, but the followers of Set book up here that like I want to use as a baseline to understand the clan a little bit better than obviously supplementing what is brand new from V5 with the rebranding of the ministry and stuff like that, and understanding what where the changes are and stuff like that. So hopefully by November, I will be fully prepared to take on the role and try to flip people's ideologies.
I think you have a great methodology to that, because you're playing a character that is tied to, the old followers of Set, right? When we play Ministry, we can play something completely new, but with that tie, you have something to ground yourself on, so that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Speaking of excitement, Kelly, what are you the most excited for when it comes to Vegas, even specifically?
Ooh, well, other than the time I get to spend making friends with people who I haven't met yet, there's one thing that I'm really excited about as kind of, again, the social activity. We have made some arrangements and we're opening up ticket sales. So it's an add-on piece, but that giant Ferris wheel, the high roller there, we are going to have pods exclusive to our group with, yes, open bars, that are going to be going around looking at the city late at night. And so be able to drink and be up high, because I'm afraid of heights, with a bunch of my friends ought to be a lot of fun. So that's one side thing that I think will be interesting, and it's unique to the Vegas experience that we're offering here.
Wow, that sounds great. What about you, Cynthia? What are you most excited about when it comes to this event?
Well, I am going to be running a tabletop game. Yeah, I'm really excited for what I'm writing, and I have run a few vampire games, but I'm not mostly well known for being a storyteller. So I'm branching out into it. I'm really excited for the table that I'm going to have. I have a very interesting story, and I hope that people are going to be interested in fun. But outside of that, I'm gonna leave Kelly to talk about the details, but I have seen the space, and my God, playing in the space, I am so excited. But Kelly, you tell them the details, and that is your realm. I just know that it's awesome and super cool.
I want to know all about the space. Let's go.
Okay, so what was interesting is in our host hotel, because of COVID, several spaces were shut down and they've never really reopened. So when the team went to go the site inspection and sign the contract, they were walking past doors that were shut and they're like, what's that in there? And so they went in, they were like, well, if you want to see it. And so one of the things, it was like the premium VIP lounge experience in the hotel. It's never been reopened and we got it booked for us. And so can you imagine you're going to go through a set of doors into a little antechamber and it's all dark wood with deep red carpeting. And then there'll be some sort of gatekeeper who will probably announce you as you go into the next rooms. We have this space that have got half circle bar tables that are covered in gold fabric. It looks ornate. It looks vampire. You go into the back area past that front room where the bar is at into the space that has a stage. And right now it's dark. It's just got the ghost light there sitting on the stage space, but the atmosphere that we're going to be able to play in that space is unique. And then there's another area where we're going to have open space in the middle with a bunch of themed breakout rooms that make you feel like you're, again, we were going for a little bit of that aged, off the market casino in Vegas. You want, because it is World of Darkness, so it's a bit darker, dirtier than what you'd expect. But this is a kind of defunct space where you can spread out, where the various representatives from the triumvirate running Vegas can have their individual meetings, plus the other people come in there, and the interactivity is going to be really fun. Beyond that, where we're having our panels and where we're having our Dinner with Darkness experience is almost like an English library space. So again, we're going to be sitting there, the dark woods, our VIPs, our special guests, having that conversation outside of gameplay about what is it like and what energizes them and why are they here, and just getting to know each other as people. But the panel space is in a place called the Champagne Ballroom. And if you can imagine walking through the halls of Versailles, that's the best thing I can compare it to right now. The artistry, the feeling you get is that rich, luxurious space, which is part of the reason we chose the Paris Hotel. We wanted people to walk in the door, and for those 4 days that we're there together, it's liminal space. The world outside doesn't exist. You are here with friends. You are here enjoying a common love of LARPing and the world of darkness. And that's what we want to do, is set it off as that clustered, protected time.
If I may add real quick to that, I was on the initial tour of all the different hotels, and the one thing that I kept saying was, is this close enough for women to walk around in heels? So I was very adamant, like, please make sure that like spaces are like within walking distance, that you won't like die in your high heels, because you're in Vegas. You want to like look like you're in Vegas. So rest assured, high heels. It is high heel friendly.
Amazing. That's great to hear. No, like you painted such a beautiful picture in my head. I was there for a moment. What a privilege it's going to be there and to witness that in person. But speaking of that privilege and the fact that a lot of Vampire the Masquerade fans unfortunately will not be able to see this in person, you've done an amazing job with the photography so far for the previous events, and for sharing, like there's tons of comments and people writing their own experiences, sharing them online. So I feel like during Chicago, even especially, there was just so much about it online that you could, as a fan from anywhere, as a fan who could not afford to go, just like immerse yourself in it as well and be a part of it somehow. Cynthia, I want to extend the question to you. If people are interested to know more about your character, your cosplay, your fashion choices, your heels, and other things, where will be they able to see some of the glimpses of that wonderful Vegas show that is awaiting us?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I'm going to post a lot of it on my social media. So if you don't follow me already, please do. On most platforms, it's Cyndancer, Cyndancer. Otherwise, Cynthia__Marie on all of the meta platforms.
Perfect. And Kelly, do we still have some tickets available, and how we can follow more information about the event and the community around it, which people would love to be a part of?
Yes, so we do still have tickets available, and you can go to darknessemergent.com. The website was recently updated, so there's a lot of content there, but it's going to be populated with more. We actually believe in teasing out some of these activities and actions, but you're going to start seeing a more greater cascade of information because we're 2 months out. Now's the time. If you've been sitting on the fence, absolutely sign up, come join us. There's a good crowd. We would love to have more people. And we're getting ready to start opening up the character generation portion. And we have our team queued up ready to answer questions for that. It's here. Join us.
Perfect.
May I add too? There's a Discord to be added to if you're a part of it, right?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Cynthia Marie.
Yeah.
Yes, we will definitely put the link to the Discord below this video or in the Twitch chat if you're watching us on Twitch. But in the meantime, Kelly, Cynthia, it was amazing to have you here on the show and to interview you. I can't wait to meet you in person and to experience Vegas. This is just getting more and more exciting.
I can't wait to give you a hug.
Yes. Yes, so much looking forward to it and looking forward to get to see you in person too for the first time.
Yes, Kelly, I am stoked to see you too.
I cannot wait to participate in this and to bring everyone all the news from the events to give at least a piece of this experience to the broader community. Thank you so much, and I hope to have you again here on the show. But for now, goodbye.